What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Havana, Cuba. I'm gonna explore the next few days here in Havana, especially around the inner city, and then I'm gonna head to Trinidad and also Vinales. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff to show you guys from Cuba, and what better way to start the trip than in front of the capital of Havana, which right now it's getting it's getting a facelift. So I'm going to show you the next few vlogs, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything that I have experienced. I apologize in advance for my voice being a little bit off because I am a little bit sick, so just try to avoid that, and let's try to have some decent fun here in Cuba. And most likely I'm going to do some exclusive episodes just for trip info, that way you guys can be better prepared, a little bit better than I was coming to Cuba. So let's see what it has to offer. So guys, as with many things in Cuba, there are lines everywhere. This is one of the banks here, and it's just packed with people. Last night I tried to find a bank and it was completely closed. And yeah, it's just phenomenal seeing lines pretty much everywhere at the grocery store. Let's call it the individual selling parts, like bakeries, butcheries, and so on. I'll show you guys more later on if I get to see if I pass some of those stores. So guys, a lot of the cars that you see, the old American style from the 40s and 50s, they're not for tourists or anything. They're actually, a way of transportation. A lot of them are taxis, so it's quite interesting to see how many there are left from the 40s and 50s. Also there are a whole bunch of Ladas. You see these American cars from the 40s and 50s, but you don't see that much of the Soviet Ladas. Like there's one right here. So there's quite a few of these as well, besides the American ones. So I was just talking to someone, and they said this is a boxing hall. It used to be a boxing hall for kid chocolate, and now they're transforming it into a hotel. The third day I'm sick, and it's getting to me. The stuffiness does not let me sleep well at night. But either way, Either way, I have to, capture, document this place. It's like stuck in time, guys. Look at this. You got a Fiat, you got a old Chevy right there, and then I'm not sure exactly what car this is. Now most of the antique cars that are painted super pinkish are mainly for tourists. So those are one of the attractions, no doubt. People rent them and they go and take a cruise by the beach, by the big boulevards. So yeah, pink is correlated with tourism, no doubt whatsoever. And here we have a famous bar, Floridita. It was one of the bars where Hemingway used to reside and write some of his works of art. It's pretty much written everywhere. That's the only reason I know. Now when you get by the seashore, things change a little bit. You got some nice front water houses, you got some statues, and this is where the main harbor is. You can see one of the big cruise ships as well. So yeah, things they're still kind of split. You got some of the good stuff, close to the downtown center near the capital, and then you got some of the overlooked stuff as well. A little bit further, probably like half a kilometer or so from the capital. It kind of starts to downgrade a little bit, but yeah, there's a neglected side and the priority side. Like in many countries that they're still developing. And we also have a couple of forts here in Havana, and I think the one above right here on the other side is probably the biggest Spanish fort that was ever constructed. I'm not 100% sure, I gotta read more into it. So just a quick little video to show you guys how a supermarket or a store here in Havana looks like. You got some canned stuff,
We got some milk, a whole bunch of rice right here, and a whole bunch of liquor actually as well. So it's pretty simple. This is pretty much how a motor looks like in one of these old American cars. It looks quite simple. So right now, guys, I'm just walking in the center of Havana. You know, one of the areas. There are dozens and dozens of streets, you know, in the center. It's quite expansive. It's hard to quantify exactly how many streets, and you know, they're quite easy. They go from south to north and from east to west, right? So it's quite easy to find your way around. And right here we have a pharmacy, from what it seems like it. You know, basic shelves with some basic prescription drugs, and that's pretty much it. And right here we have a pretty cool street that you can see the Capitol at the end of it. And here's a store, guys, that I passed through, and it kind of shows the emptiness of some of the stuff. But yeah, this is the exterior of the Museum of the Revolution. It looks like you have quite a few artillery and planes and tanks and a whole bunch of other stuff. Here we have another storefront with some seeds and you know, whatever they're selling here. But you can tell this is kind of typical, you know, of the old days. Here we have some soda. No, some I'm not sure what they are. Cochido. But we have some green beans and some tomato sauce, and yeah, a few other things. So here we have a place where you can get some meat, some flour, some oil, and a few other things. So guys, here's a tip that might help you if you don't have an accommodation in Havana and you do see these signs, or this sign in particular. I have no idea what it stands for, but pretty much we have a room for rent, or it's a hostel or something similar. So yeah, just look for that sign if you ever need an accommodation. So heading north from the Capitol, you get this nice paved, not sure exactly what to call it, not a boulevard, but I mean it is a boulevard, but it's just a sidewalk in the middle of the boulevard. So as you can tell, you can't see the Capitol from here, but it's right behind those streets that you saw here. Let me see if I can go on the side a little bit. Yep, all the way there on the left. And now we have some new hotels here as well, and some buildings that have been reconstructed. It looks like renovated or brand new, not sure exactly. This one kind of looks like a brand new construction versus renovation, revamp on the left side. So this is one of the main boulevards here that kind of cuts the city, I want to say in half, but you can go from one side to the other, and you get some pretty nice views with some old architecture. So another important place here in Havana is the Plaza de la Revolución, and I know it can be easily recognized by the famous portrait of Che Guevara, and I believe Cienfuegos here in the back on a different building. But also it looks like they have a new building here, which is still under construction. Not sure exactly if it's a part of the, you know, commemoration or whatsoever, but yeah, it's there's still construction going on here. But yeah, this is one of the places that you see in many postcards on the internet, you know, when it comes to Googling Havana. So you know, you kind of have to you know, check mark it, right? So if you do go further on the Malecon towards the west side,
It is closed for reconstruction, but you also got this humongous hill from what it seems like it. But it looks like they are redoing the pavement a little bit here. So yeah, this part of Havana is quite cosmopolitan. As you can see, it has quite a few buildings and there's construction, and all of it seems to be quite new. So guys, if you want to get a decent view of the whole city of Havana, just go on the other side of the bay, take the ferry, which costs approximately one old peso, and you'll get outstanding views of the city. You can see pretty much everything from here, and it's very nice. And you can also visit the fortress that you can see from the Malecon, so that's another plus if you want to put that in your schedule. But this is very easy. You just go, you find pretty much you know, there's always a cruise ship from what it seems like south of the city, and you take the ferry to Casablanca, which I believe is just underneath the fortress right there, and then you just do a little walk, and then boom, you get this amazing view of the whole city. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see. You know, I think I got some pretty decent shots here. You know, I kind of just wanted for you know, for a full perspective of Havana. So yeah, you can see how vast it is. Also, it looks like they have a Jesus statue here as well, from what it looks like, overlooking at the city, behind those trees, of course. And it looks like they have some airplanes, some artillery, some few other stuff here on this side of the bay. Some pretty nice houses, I don't know, military-wise probably. And nice pink convertibles. And it looks like right here they have a little memorial dedicated to the missile crisis back in the early 60s. And these seem to be parts of a US Air Force plane. And also right near the statue of Jesus, it looks like they have the house of Che Guevara. Does cost 6 cooks to visit, but it looks like it's a cultural center here. Maybe after, you know, they settled in Havana, this was the place he chose. One thing that you're gonna notice walking the old town of Havana at night is that it's not very lit up. It's quite dark, guys, and there are very few places that have, you know, sufficient electricity from what it looks like. So although it's lit up quite badly, I don't know, I feel like it feels safe. There's a safety vibe walking the streets. I don't know, the people are nice, you know, they're willing to help, they're willing to give you directions and so on. But yeah, again, electricity seems to be quite an issue. So guys, ending the episode from Havana right here under a palm tree in front of the Capitol. It's been fantastic. It's been good, it's been bad. It had its ups and downs, no doubt whatsoever, but it's been fantastic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You know, this episode and the following ones from Vinales, Trinidad, and also afterwards I'll put some info videos as well regarding like money and a few other things that you guys should definitely be aware of before you come to Cuba. So until then, guys, gratitude should be the only attitude. Stay humble, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.